Hello there and welcome back. I'm Elena.
And I'm Fotios, and this is The Game Court.
Today we're going to have a discussion, post-discussion about Orléans.
Yes, we just finished our playthrough of Orléans, and you can find the link to the playthrough
I'll put it in the description down below,
correct.
so you can see that if you want to watch the playthrough, you can do that. But we're just going to discuss about the game and how it actually went.
Yes, absolutely. So
you won.
I won.
I have to say that first.
It was a very good play from both of us, very different play.
Yes.
Elena focused on the development track and collecting more people.
Mm-hmm.
I did a bit more money, a bit more trading. I had more goods and more money. I played a bit of the boatman here, which gave me a lot of money.
I focused very much on the monastery, so I got a lot of wild tokens, a lot of wild people that actually let me build the strategy that I wanted.
More flexible for you.
More flexibility, yes. I went up to 6 stars over here. You had 5.
Yes, correct.
Overall, but I think you focused so much and you had so much wealth that actually made you win.
Yes, and one thing I would like to say...
I'm not happy, to be honest.
One thing I would like to say beginning the discussion is that in our play so far, I think we have about 10 plays of this game, something like that. But in our play so far, it seems that whoever does better in development track is the person who's going to win. Mm-hmm. But this is not necessarily the case.
Yes, I think I like the way you've developed your guild hall and your wagon. Your guild hall, maybe another time you did it, but all these little tokens that actually give you discount of people, which on the long term, it's very beneficial.
Yes, correct.
It's very beneficial.
You spent an action to put the coke down.
And it feels like, why am I even doing that? It doesn't make any sense. But then, in the long run, you can use the people, and instead of putting them there, then you can do different actions with them. So obviously, you win. Also, you're in front on the farmer's market, so I guess that made you win. Because at 18 coins, though, 18 coins is a lot of coins.
I was maybe not, apart from the first 2 rounds, let's say, from every other round I was in front, up front.
So that's a coin
every round, and our difference in score was only 6 points.
Yes.
So that was also
definitely a thing, isn't it? I mean, I tried to catch up with you, but every time I would go, you would go, so it's not very easy to catch up with that. I mean, I don't want to do the farmers all the time. I want to do something more interesting, go to scriptorium and all of that, right?
But let's discuss about the game more generally. I mean, how do you like the game?
Well, this is one of my favorite games. I really like it, and again, it's a very beige Euro game.
It is as beige as this game is.
Can you pass me that, please?
Oh yes.
It's beige in, is beige out. It's all very creamy, very beigey. Art is nice, but I don't, that's not the point of the beiginess, I would say. Is that a word?
Yes.
I'll make that.
And what do you have? Like in every Euro game, you have some tracks.
Yeah.
A map.
Yeah.
Right?
When
you build, you expand your map.
You can probably add any theme, but I think that's besides the point. It reminds me a little bit of Tilitum when it comes to how well the theme is integrated. Which is not very much.
Not very much, yes.
But the game is very exciting, and I like the combos, and I like whatever I pull up. I like a bit of push your luck in a game. Yes. I like a bit of that element. You don't know what. I mean, it's good to build a strategy sometimes, but a bit of luck makes the game fun.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, how the game works here is you have your own player board, and you decide on your actions, and this also reminds a bit of Paladins. We played Paladins first, even if it's a newer game, and then we played Orléans.
Yes.
Well, actually, maybe we should say Paladins borrowed it from Orléans. Maybe that's the better way to say it. But if you have played Paladins and not Orléans, maybe you
should try this one too.
And if you like Paladins, I think you should try this one.
Firstly, to be honest though, I didn't see it at the beginning, and then we were talking about it, and I actually realized that instead of meeples, you actually have the little discs that they do exactly the same. Even with those,
the development tiles, the workshops in Paladins.
We have they're not called the greenhouses.
Workshops, I think.
I don't remember exactly.
Anyway, doesn't matter.
But you put them out, and that gives you a discount of a person as well every single time. So I can see that happening a lot. Although, do you have a map in Paladins? You don't.
No, in Paladins you have a row of cards and stuff like that. Yes, you don't have a map.
But it is though. I think the base mechanic of the game, the main mechanic, it's through and through Paladins. Yes.
Compared to Paladins, I would say, and I don't want to make discussion about Paladins necessarily. This game is more interactive between the players because you have competition who is going to get the followers because there are limited quantities.
Yes.
But you also have competition on the map who's going to get the goods and who's going to build first on a city.
And God forbid go the other way around where your player is going to go or the other player comes towards you and it just ruins your whole game.
Correct. How about setup? What do you think about setup?
It's a bit fiddly, to be honest. I mean, we have these little discs, which made it. I mean, these ones we bought, didn't we?
Yes.
They're like acrylic kind of thing.
They used to be
Plastic.
cardboard tokens.
And I think that's a good upgrade because, when you put your hand in your bag, then every time you put your hand in your bag, you just damage the little plastic discs.
We also have upgraded the cogs and the metal coins, obviously.
That's only because, we're fancy and we like doing that. But the idea is, I think it's a bit fiddly. All of these are very fiddly and there's nothing actually to keep them in place.
Yeah. And you have to set up all the map with all the goods. At the beginning of the game, you have to count exactly how many tokens you need for that player count. Because for every player count, you put different number of followers.
But I don't think it's necessarily more fiddly than any other game, really. I don't think it takes particularly longer or it has a particularly wheel that you need to turn. Or it's just, basic setup technically. Yeah.
We discussed about the theme already. We don't believe that there is much of a theme here, but I don't think you'd play this game for the theme.
No, I think it's sound and it's very entertaining. I really like the drawing out of a bag.
Yes. Mechanics wise, as you said, because we buy these followers and we put them in the bag, it's a bit of bag building, which is similar to the deck building, and then you randomly draw and you don't know what you get. Right? So there's a bit of a bag building element. There's a bit of worker placement element. Here and here.
Well, technically they are workers.
Exactly.
I mean, they're even people.
Yes, there's a bit of traveling and building, a bit of networking as well. But the basic mechanics are worker placement and bag building, I would say here. And it's quite well implemented, quite clean.
I think what was the word I'm looking for?
Scales?
Thank you. How did you know that? It scales very well to 4 players and 3 players. I think the more interaction, the better in this game. I don't find it particularly aggressive, or there is some interaction, but like even if, for example, somebody takes the place that you want in this city, then there are always so many other avenues that you could take. And it's always different ways you could go around it. So it's not that, for example, in Imperial Steam, where you're trying to make a move and you've been playing for that move for half a game and then somebody takes a move and that's you for the whole game. You always have different avenues that you could take and different things that you could do.
The game scales very well when it comes to the followers and tiles.
Yeah.
I do have 2 minor though complaints from my side.
Well, you are quite particular.
I mean, the map for 2 players is maybe a bit too open. Maybe there's not as competition as in 3 or 4 players.
I don't think I mind that very much.
You don't
Sometimes
mind
I like a bit of, you go your way, I go mine.
But equally, in
most games that have a map like that you need to know, like Concordia, for example, everybody goes separate ways and, you do think, I don't mind that very much.
But in Concordia, for 2 players, you play a different map, a tighter map.
You have one, but equally you can still play the bigger ones, and it's not necessarily an issue.
But
I don't find it an issue.
for the Orléans roll and write, the Zone of Arc, the roll and write, you see, you have 2 sections of the map.
Yeah, they close half of it.
Exactly,
but
which
that's come
makes
out,
more sense, right?
That's come out after the main game,
after.
right? So they had the opportunity to actually change something.
It could be like that, like, a portion of the map is not available for 2 players.
Do you know if the expansion gives you a different map?
I'm not sure about that.
Well, if you know whether the expansion gives you a different map, like, that you can adjust, do let us know.
And the other thing about player count is that this also doesn't scale very well. I mean, in 3 or 4 players, you'll be able to collect more of these players.
A few of them. Yeah, I see your point, yeah.
Elena got one here, but there's not a lot of competition happening here, basically.
I see.
So that's my 2 when it comes to player
scaled.
count.
I think it's an easy thing to scale as well, whether some people just, house rule it, because you can do that within the game,
absolutely.
really, then that's another thing.
What do you think about the length of the game?
I think it's just as a setup, it's pretty straightforward, and it's just as long and as every other game. It's not too long and it's not too much of a headachy.
Easily, I think, for 2 players is sub-hour.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, especially when you've played it a few times, everything comes mechanically.
Yes, I think the main element of the game that takes time is the planning, which is done simultaneously across all players.
Yes.
So there's not like one person is thinking and the others are waiting. So everybody's planning together and then performing your actions.
It's very fast.
It's very fast. It's straightforward.
Especially at the beginning. I mean, it says 18 actions, but at the beginning you barely manage to place 1 or 2 things on your board. So at the beginning is incredibly fast.
So basically the actions afterwards that you have to think about is a town hall. Do I want to place it here or there?
Yeah.
And then also the traveling around. Do I want to go that way or that way? That's the decision. So it's pretty fast to play. I think even with 3 or 4 players.
It's not.
Yes, exactly.
It's not dragging. It's not a dragging game. It just plays well regardless.
Yes.
quality is just as
just a Eurogame.
Do you want to say it? Because it feels like I'm saying the same things all the time.
Just a Eurogame, right?
I don't have. Yeah. The thing is, though, I think the game is so enjoyable that I don't really mind. I don't think it's any particular quality or any, I mind very much what it is.
We did apart from these grades.
Apart from these that, they do, you destroy them easily when you put your hand in the bag all the time because you obviously have nails and stuff.
If they're cardboard.
Yeah. And some people do put them in like little plastic discs.
Coin capsules.
That's what it is.
Yes, coin capsules.
So you can do that too, but each to their own.
Yes. This is very good quality though, and this is from BGG store, I think.
Okay.
And they have different sets, upgrades like that. And I think it does make sense, especially for this game and the other game, Quacks.
Quacks would have the same problem,
exactly,
won't it? Yeah.
Exactly. But otherwise, I mean, the game has ton of components, like it's cardboard and wood component. It's decent.
Nothing to complain about.
Exactly.
Yeah, very good game.
And finally, from a replayability point of view, the map is always different because the goods are sorted in a different way.
Yeah.
And also the events come in a different order all the time, and there are out there a lot of promos where you can get many more places. Only you got a place in this game, but you can get more places by playing this trader here. There are a lot of promos out there that increase a lot the replayability of the game.
I mean, we might play this game how many times a year would you say?
Maybe
5, 6?
3, 4 times a year.
4 times a year?
Well, about 4 times a year. It would be very nice.
So again, if you have a big collection, then you won't really get bored of it very easily.
Correct.
I think it's just very sound and it's
very
not
satisfying.
going to change. It's not going to change regardless. It's just very satisfying indeed.
It's a very, very good game. We really recommend it. Highly recommend it.
Would like to know what you think of the game as well.
And if you have played it, or if you have played other similar games that you would recommend based on this game, please also let us know. And
and that's it.
That's it. That was our post-game discussion.
Post-game discussion. I need to remember that, yes.
Post-game discussion for Orléans.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you for watching.
See you later.
Bye.